Okay. Come buddy double with me as I make dinner because I gotta. This is actually not dinner. This is for my lunch tomorrow because I don't usually eat dinner. Um, I'm pretty full actually. I eat a lot during lunchtime, and I have a snack in the afternoon towards the end of my shift. So we're just making food for tomorrow. And what I'm gonna be making is the usual my usual soup. It's seaweed and I forgot the name in English. Uh, but in Bisaya it's called agbati. And I really like this. I followed a recipe of a Vietnamese, I think it's gaming foodie, and I learned the recipe from her. But aside from the agbati, I use seaweed, the Korean seaweed that I buy at the groceries. All right, so I wanted to make a video, but because I also needed to do my chores and cook and stuff like that, I'm gonna do it in while I'm doing my chores. Yeah, and I had a realization that if I really wanted to do something, because I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for like a very long time, and I keep putting it off and recording and stuff because I always think like, oh, I'm never gonna be ready for this, or I'm probably gonna suck, or something of that effect. And I watched a video earlier. I forgot the name um of the creator, but it was a lovely lady who said that you should start messy, and that's why we are doing this because I'm gonna start messy. And I also I've been telling myself this. It's been a year. I did start a channel, but I didn't put anything on it because, as I said, I always think like, oh, um, nothing I say would be of any value to anybody. But I realized that that's not important because now I shifted to a mindset where I'm gonna do this for myself, and it doesn't matter if I don't get any views. What I'm trying to build is consistency and removing the brain rot from my brain. And, you know, aside from, um, what's that called? Aside from, not aside, instead of just consuming and consuming, I should be making something. And this is also a practice for me to be a little bit more confident when it comes to talking. And I really want that. I used to talk a lot and enter a lot of like speech events and whatever when I was in school. And I used to be articulate, and I'm not anymore. And I stammer a lot. I do a lot of ums and fillers and stuff like that. So that's also one of the reasons that I want to do this. And I said it doesn't matter if nobody watches me. This is for me. I am going to do this with the intention of making my life better. And also, if along the way, whatever I say or do um, will help somebody, then that's great. Will help one person, then that's great. But I gotta help myself first. So that's why we're here. And the game plan is that I'll I'll do messy. So I'm not gonna do any edits, no edits and stuff like that. Nothing, because that's just gonna hinder me from doing it. So the mindset is turn the lights on, sit down, or do something, record, pause. I mean, not pause, but hit the record button and just talk. And that's what we're doing because I've been wanting to do this for like a really long time, but I haven't really put the plans I've had in action because I'm scared of making stuff, creating, I guess. And it has to stop because I have been wanting to, yeah, I've been wanting to create for a very long time. And I have had this feeling that if I don't start now, I probably will never be able to start anytime, like in any time in the future. Something will always come up. So I have to do something about that. And today I wrote the stuff that I wanted to say, like why am I doing this? Um, it's because I would rather do it, and I tried doing it for me rather than in the future regret not doing it. So that's why. And as a person who has so many plans, I have so many plans for me. I have so many side quests, and this is actually one of the side quests that I want to really take off. But I gotta start somewhere. If I don't start, I won't ever start because I'll be like paralyzed. I have had been paralyzed for a very long time. You gotta make it. Gotta make something. Take action. That's why we're doing this. Oh, I usually use scissors when I cut off the stems or the leaves from the stems, but I guess this is crispy enough for it's fresh enough to be just plucked off, you know. And agbati like this is kind of pricey here. This bundle is like 15 pesos, and there's like five, six, yeah, six stems. If I buy this in carbon, this would be like 20 pesos. And then I bought like six stems for maybe six, not six, but maybe like 12 or so. I bought it for like 30 pesos, but I don't have time to go to carbon right now, so I'm buying it in the local um Tiangge market. Uh, the reason why I also wanted to start doing creating is because uh, I wanted to share my thoughts to people, but I'm scared. It, it's I just wanted to share my observations and stuff, and maybe if I could teach, you really can't teach common sense, but things that you point out, usually there are things I've realized that I kind of am observant, and there's been a lot of occasion where people didn't notice and I did, and I pointed it out and it helped them. So if I could do something like that while making my videos, then that'd be great. you know if it helps one person, even just one, that would be great. But I started the the channel before with the intent of helping other people uh, find themselves, but I have shifted the mindset because I haven't helped myself. So we'll start with that. Me first, because I cannot help people if I'm also lost. So yeah, I watched so many videos about this is what you should do to like grow a YouTube channel, this and that, and then watching so much of it, but then I didn't really create. So the problem was, even though I did learn something, I didn't put it to practice. And I haven't done anything for like a very long time, a year. I remember a year ago, pretty sure it was about a year ago, I talked to one of my friends who also is a content creator, or at least he was, and then he stopped because he got burned out or something like that. And he talked about stuff like branding, uh, your content, making your mark, and then your niche and stuff like that. We talked a lot about stuff like that, or topics, or how you should like streamline your content creation and stuff like that. And it was a good talk, but it was just up to that, just the talk, because I'm afraid. I really admit that I was really scared, and I still am. I'm very nervous. I don't really know if I could keep this up, but I promised myself that I want something I want something to look back to in, in the future, not getting any younger. And I've never done I'm a kind of person who don't post on social media anymore. I used to when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I'm in my mid 30s, I haven't posted anything in my social media in years, aside from like updating my profile picture like once in every year, like once. And I haven't posted anything about my life in social media, especially on Facebook, because I like my privacy. I like, just, I like my solitude. I like that. I like that a lot. And I don't want prying eyes being in my business, but it's very contradictory to the plans that I have for myself. So why would I be like making content when I don't want people to know what I've been up to? You know, it's very contradictory, but I guess I will just have to mm, roll with the punches. I guess be selective. Yeah, because you don't have to say everything in the internet or share it in the internet, and you have to learn. That's it. It applies to me too, like to discern which things I should be sharing to the internet and whatnot, and not even sure if people will listen to it. But that's fine. This is for me. I did a couple of like TikToks and stuff like that, teaching manifesting and whatnot. But there's so many people doing that already, and it kind of feels like it's so saturated. So we're not we're not doing stuff like that anymore. We're just us. We'll just be us. Just be me. Uh, Another is that I wanted I want to have the courage to be disliked, because I guess everybody has like a face where you're a people pleaser. I used to be like that, I think, but I've definitely outgrown it, and with age and experience, I've outgrown that, and my friends would tell me that I don't care about my reputation. But I do, though. I do. It's just that I like to speak my mind and to call out when people are doing something wrong. Like, being mean or being creepy. Those are, I have some stories about that, but that's gonna be for another video, I guess. So now I'm just peeling the garlic. This is actually a very simple dish. Just have garlic. I'm gonna put a little bit of ginger, so I like ginger, and then the, I forgot the term in English, but there's a term for this. It's not spinach. Mm, I will look it up and I'll say it next time. I did learn the term for it in English, but I forgot. But it's agbati. Just agbati and garlic, onion, pork, and I put seaweed. Wait, I don't have any onion. I just put onion powder and a little bit of salt and pepper. That's it. Very easy. It usually takes me like an hour, yeah, to make this. And I make a lot because I don't want to cook every night. So one, like one cooking session would last me like 2 lunches. Yeah. So I eat different, I eat like a sandwich in the morning, or I have eggs. I have hard boiled eggs um for breakfast and coffee. Yeah. Yeah. Just skinning the garlic. And rough mince. That's it. Okay. I have a little bit of dead air, but that's okay. That's fine. Rough, rough chops. Just dice it a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to edit this. Maybe cut it off bit by bit. The video is fine, but you know. Oh, I learned a hack before where if you're um after like mincing garlic and your hands smell like garlic, you just rub it on like a metal surface and the smell would be gone. But I'm not sure if that really works. I think it does to some extent. Okay, this, and then just the ginger after, and also the agbati. I forgot what it's called really. Why do I keep saying that? It doesn't really matter right now. We'll just leave it as is. Okay. Transfer it to this. Oh, I've been living alone since I moved here. I think like 2 years. Yeah, I lived with a relative a year ago, a year or so ago. Yeah, like maybe 2 years ago. When I first moved here, I lived with my cousin's family. Well, she's not really my cousin, but like a distant relative's family, and the place is a little bit too far. It's not a little bit too far. It is far from where I work, and there's just a lot of like issues in that area with like water and stuff. It's in an unsavory part of the city, Not gonna mention where it is, but yeah. So, I manifested like universe. I want a place of my own. Please grant me this. And about a year after, I think, um, I I knew about this place from a friend's friend, and they moved. So they moved to a different city, and I got this place. I am staying here now. I'm renting it now. Bigger space would be nicer, but with my current budget, this is the only. This is about the one of the places that I can um afford. Okay, that's the term. Afford. Right. I'm just gonna chop the the agbati. Agbati. I really forgot what it's called. Oh, but yeah. And it's rough chops. That's about it. Mm. Manifesting actually helped me like a lot because I didn't know about it until like 2000, towards the end of 2023, and I was in between gigs and I was not earning enough. I was only like earning enough for like the internet bill, and I was living with my parents, and I was not happy. I wasn't free and stuff. I wasn't free to do what I wanted, and yeah, I felt like trapped, and I was so scared that I would be stuck there forever, and I didn't want that because there's so many things that I wanted to do, meet new people and try new things. Okay, so what I do is I just layer the leaves. It doesn't matter if it's like big or small or whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just layer it, a couple of leaves, and then I just chop. Whoops, baliktad. Just chop it like that, like thin strips. I do thin strips. Okay, where was I? Yeah. So I was working online in between gigs. I didn't have a permanent job. I was working as a freelance scopist, and I also like was doing like writing articles and stuff, content. Is that copywriting? I think is what you call it. Yeah, I was copywriting and other script writing and stuff like that. I was doing that, and I it's not that I hated it. It just wasn't enough for me to be like, to feel like I'm doing something. It wasn't that. It didn't feel like that. It didn't feel right. And that's why when I learned about manifesting, I stumbled upon it when I was browsing Pinterest. Yeah. If I remember correctly, the video that I saw was a TikTok of like this dark skinned lady, and she was saying stuff like, you gotta know about this book, which was um the Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Shamushin. And she said like, you're not gonna need anything else, just read this book and your life will change and whatnot. And it was it was a lot at first. I was like, I got curious. I'm like, okay, what is this? What is this manifesting thing? And I gave it a try. I listened to an audiobook by this really nice lady who has a very nice voice. I think her name was like Lilla or Lilia or Lily, something like that. Can't remember, but I can find the channel. I'll be linking it below. I'll be linking it in the description. And so I listened to the audiobook like for a couple of months, and I gave it a try. And one of the lessons in manifesting that I learned from Florence's book was that, you know, you ask for it, and then you ask for the manifestation, you manifest, and then you learn to be patient. Learn to be patient. Don't tell nobody about your business, your manifestation. You keep it in between you, God, and the universe, and infinite spirit, and whoever deity, entity, or whatever, maybe deity, whichever you follow or believe. You ask for them for that, and you don't you don't rush it. That's what I learned from that. So there was a job posting that I saw on like a job ad website, and I read through it, and the requirement was someone who had experience copywriting for like at least like 2 or 3 years. And I was like, oof, I don't have any kind of experience, like not officially, like not in the company setting or whatever, but I do write, but not really copywriting. So I told myself, like, hey, why not give this a try? It really doesn't matter if, there's one requirement that you don't qualify. So I'm like, just give it a shot. And if this is for me, I'll get it. If this is for me, I'll get it. And I prayed and I manifested. I'm like, if this job is rightfully mine, give it to me. Don't make it easy for me to pass the exams and the initial interview and whatnot. So I sent my resume, and then I forgot about the whole thing. Actually, it was like, it's okay. If I get a call or I get an email or whatever, it's fine. And it took about like 2 weeks until I received my reply, and they invited me for an interview, and they gave me like a test. It was an exam for I think there were like several writing tests, and I passed it. And then I I didn't even tell my parents that time that I was applying for a job outside of my city. And I didn't tell them until the month, a week before, like 2 weeks before. Yeah, until 2 weeks before I'd be moving, because I've had several experiences where if I told somebody my plans, it doesn't happen. Something happens and it doesn't happen. It doesn't come to fruition. So if I have any plans to do whatever, I don't tell anyone. Unless they're like, it's inevitable. I especially don't tell my parents. I just tell them afterwards. Like that, like my trip to Canada last year. I didn't tell anybody, not even my sister. Nobody knew that I was going, except for, of course, except for people at work, because they had to know, because work stuff, right? Aside from them, none of my relatives knew that I was going on a vacation to another country. So yeah, and everything from like the visa application and whatever, I didn't tell anyone about it aside from my really close friends. Okay, so yeah, so it was like towards the end, if I can remember correctly, it was like towards the end of um my my last month of working from home that I told my parents like, I actually got accepted to this job in like another city in another island. So I'll be moving out in a couple weeks. And I didn't even tell my friends then. I didn't tell my best friend then that I was moving away. I just told them that from I was working from home. I didn't tell any one of my friends from my hometown that I was moving away, not until I was like a week away from moving, because the manifesting is not complete yet. So I had to hold all the information, even though I really wanted to share it to my friends. But, you know, what I learned is that you don't tell your manifestation until it manifests. So yeah. Okay, hold on. The air conditioning is a little bit cold. Too cold for my liking. So we will be lowering it. And that saved me from being stuck. Maybe I should put this down. Maybe I should put it in a cabinet before if I'm not using it. Maybe that's a better option. The pot is in the fridge because it still has rice on it. Yeah, I'll heat it up in the morning. Eat. Okay, time to cook. What else happened? So I moved to this city and moved to the city. Um, and I've been with the company for like 3 years already. I'm pretty sure it's about that long. Yeah. Because I started, yeah, almost 3 years. Almost 3 years. Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna be cooking now. I'm gonna end the video here. So this is gonna be my first long format video, I guess. I've had several, but anyway, thank you so much for staying or like listening to me, and we'll see you again. Good job. Bye.